Hello everybody and welcome to the video. In previous video we left off by opening our diff, seeing that there is nothing seemingly wrong with it. We will be cleaning it out, filling in with oil and installing back into the subframe and put subframe on the car. Once that is done, we can finally install the new exhaust, which I showed in the previous video. I'll insert the clip here. And then we can do maintenance part. We have oil. We also have filters. We have oil filter. We have fuel filter, diff oil that we'll be filling up in the diff. We also need to change our coolant to distilled water additive for the distilled water so that it stays cool a little bit better. Good parts, good idea, good mindset. And yeah, let's learn together and let's go. Let's do some clipping. So this is what we are looking at here. The diff seems to be clean. There's no extra stuff going on anywhere. I will just fill it up with oil so that we have it easier later. I will just put like 1.7, 1.8 liters in now. If I'm doing something massively wrong, please comment, because I have no idea. And just put the oil in. About the oil, I'm using Castrol limited slip diff oil. I don't really know if it's the best or not. As I understood, they're all pretty much the same. If you have LSD diff, just make sure that you're using limited slip diff oil because they are different. Everything in the subframe has been bolted on. My phone battery died, so I did some work off camera. To change these control arms, to get this bolt out, you do need to essentially remove the diff. It was fine to just release it and drop it down. I think we can move on to trying to install it on the car. Slowly and carefully. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, seems like I did not set it to record. The bracket is installed. It needed to be put on with the front subframe screws, but it was no issue. Release them. The subframe holds well enough only on the rear bolts. So yeah, now we can move on to the control arms. Alright, this is amazing. So, this is it. I have reinstalled the subframe. Everything is tightened down. We have connected the drive shaft, brakes, shocks, springs, ABS sensor only on one side because of the hydraulic handbrake. We actually don't want ABS to work, so we have left disconnected the right hand side. We will now need to move to installing the new exhaust. Shouldn't be anything too complex. A lot of new things learned. Mainly check if something needs to be bolted on before bolting something else on, because I have done a lot of bolts and screws twice. Either way, good progress. Alright, so this is our front section of the exhaust. We also have new bolts, new gaskets, clamps and brackets. About the exhaust, I bought it from DriftShop.com. Seems to be quite good quality exhaust. To be honest, I don't know what to check for quality in exhaust, but it looks great. Alright then, we are under the car. We have all our bolts and nuts and sockets and wrenches and everything we should need here. So I will be trying to install this exhaust. Now this is what we have for the next section. There are two separate pieces. They are different length, but of course you can see which one goes which side by looking at the rear section, because they are different length here. We'll now try to put on the rear section and see where we are at. And we will put on these bushings. Great way to do this is just use some WD-40, smudge the WD-40 in the hole, and it slides right on. They need to be somewhat parallel to each other. So that's not ideal, not something you want to see. So as you can see, I've taken off the exhaust that was put on. I've been playing around with it just here on the ground without being in touch with the car, and to be honest, I can't make it work. I think that some part of it is created incorrectly. No matter how you twist these middle parts, they do not line up parallel the way they should. The middle section where there is X pipe on this one or resonator in normal one, it is straight, and then of course the silencer is also straight relative to the car. Nothing has really gone to plan with installing the exhaust. I thought I will not be able to do it at all, but forcing it together and squeezing things and bending stuff, I have managed to get it somewhere in the right place. It sits a little bit too far to the rear. Because of this, the brackets do not fit, though I need to bend this a little bit open. So I will heat this up and see how it goes from there. Yeah, it is red hot now there. Yes, that's a success. It was 90 degrees. I need it, well, somewhere like that. Okay, this now is the moment. Let's see if it actually sits correctly relative to the rear bumper. Yeah, it should go a little bit lower. But this we'll have to do for now. This is where we are at now with the exhaust. Everything has bolted together. The main issue is that this part is way too low, lower than it should be. It actually might even cause me issues with the ground clearance. This is where it has not went in fully. You can see the line here, that's like 3-4 centimeters that I needed to be further in. Still is in good enough. This bracket should hold it all well. It is more in than this bracket anyway. As you can tell, we are missing this middle bracket. I'm not sure what damage this will cause, the fact that we are missing it, but for now it is like that. So we will leave the exhaust like that for now. As you can see, it pretty much is by far the lowest point of the car right now. Now it's time to do maintenance, change oil, change coolant, fuel filter, and that is it. Then we can finally lower it down. It is what it is. And it came open. Oil still looks brand new, but it has been sitting for 2 years and I would definitely want to change it anyway. Let's see how big of a mess I can make here. Bye bye! So this is the next day now. The oil has definitely drained. It did make a little bit of mess, but that's not an issue. This is the new filter, and usually the filter comes with a new ring for the filter housing, and we also have copper ring for the ball pan bolt. Well, we have it. We can also inspect the bolt itself. It has a magnetic top, so we can see if there are any like metal shavings and stuff. This looks a little clean. Yeah, it looks perfect. And that's fine, don't overdo it. As you can see, it did make quite a big mess here. This is why I like to keep some sawdust at home. Whenever you do some woodworking or something at home, swipe up the sawdust, put it in a bucket, and it comes in handy when you have oil spills. You just pour it on, let it sit a while, then just sweep it up, and it sucks up all the oil in the sawdust. So, the oil I'm using, Liqui Moly 5WD50. Of course you want to look at good oil, good stuff, because the engine sees a lot of abuse and high revs. Pretty much that's all it sees. So I went to Liquid Moly shop, talked with them, and they explained that for sports applications 5WD-50 would be fine. So it might need a little bit thicker oil than this engine normally would have. I did drive like half a season on the training sessions and so on, and didn't seemingly have any issues with oiling and so on. So I hope that I am correct in using this oil, but it seems to be working just fine. Beautiful. Check the oil level now. Since the first start, everything has circulated. So the next thing we need to do is changing coolant. Yes, that's exactly what we wanted to see. Alright, so we can fill it up with distilled water. We will need to wait for it to heat up. We'll probably need to wash it through a few times. Now get it up to temperature so the valves and thermal stuff opens up. So this is one thing I hate about these bleed screws, is that, well, it gets all quite messed up. I found that my other donor car has metal one and same thread, so yeah, that's a good luck. Not sure where this is from or if it's OEM or not. Also, you cannot really use just any screw, because how it bleeds, I believe, is it uses this, what it's called, groove in it. And also the metal one has kind of a groove, so when you just untighten it, it starts to bleed out without taking whole bolt out. So I have rinsed it now. This is 4th or 5th time. It looks pretty good, pretty clean. There's still a little bit of blue. I think we can now assume that system has been flushed. I'll let this drain out fully and meanwhile change the fuel filter. Once that is done, we can top it up with the coolant and finally get it on the ground. Okay, well, that stuff is draining out. See if we can install these spring locks for the boot. I believe it should be somewhere like here. So this should do. And that's it. One side is done. Need to make the same on the other side. Perfect. That was fuel. This is the old filter, rusted out clamps. All the rubber hose connectors here, they are all cracked and not good anymore. So we will definitely not be using those, and we will also need some new clamps. This is what I have now. This is the new filter, new hoses, new clamps. So yeah, let's put this on. Try to go to the car wash to wash the car. Seems to drive fine, which is a little bit concerning. What was wrong with the diff, not clear now. That's pretty much it for now. Let's wash the car. As for the diff, I don't really know. I'll try to do small burnout in front of the house. So I'm inside my territory, so nobody really can tell me anything about it. But it seems to be fine. So I think we will conclude this episode now. We did quite a lot to the car. We removed subframe, changed diff oil, still needs to be drained to the level. We also changed control arms on the rear, which means we will need to have alignment done. We did maintenance to the car, oil, filters, fuel filter, We flushed coolant down with distilled water. We put on the exhaust, which did not fit great. So if you're planning to buy DriftShop Exhaust, just be aware that might not be ideal fit. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe it was some manufacturing mistake. Hard to tell. Either way, probably in some later episode, we will need to cut it open, bend it so that the front section stays more up and the rear section goes up that way. Even smaller bumps in the road do touch exhaust, so that's not great. Of course, for the exhaust, I didn't film a lot of it. It was quite literally a whole day where I was playing around with it, trying to match how it could fit, and did find one angle and then just hammered it literally together as much as I could so that it at least a little bit fits. Generally, we are still on track. I need to find where to do alignment. We will make a video of that. I think that is it. Hope you enjoyed watching. See you next time. Bye bye.